Alright guys, so in this video I'm replacing your headlights, the whole thing. I've got multiple reasons why I need to replace them. They've got stuff broken inside, they're hazy, which you can fix that. But my turn signal bulb actually melted the connector, and you can't get the connector, you have to buy the whole thing. So I got all new housings. So first off, work on taking off the front bumper. Now mine is a lot different, so because I've got quick disconnects, but you're going to take off all the bolts around and underneath, and you're also going to take screws out to get the grill off, as well as 2 screws here to get the lower grill off, which I don't have. So, and that whole thing will come off. Then you will disconnect your fog lights from the front bumper, and that you can take it all off. You don't have to take the whole thing off. You can just take these bolts out, pull it forward, because there's a screw here that holds the headlight housing in. But I'm going to take the whole thing off because it's a lot easier for me, just because of my scenario. And then there's 2 screws down through here, so that's why you have to pull that grill off or pull it back, because there's 2 T30s here and right there. And then I just have 2 screws on the bottom, those T30s, and then the bumper quick disconnects and the whole thing comes off. So next thing, if you're just going the route of taking the whole bumper off, once you've pulled it off, just disconnect there. Disconnect the parking light on this side. All right, whole thing's off. All right, so there are 3 bolts, T25. Yeah, 1, 2, and 3. That holds on the whole housing. And then there's a connector back here. So my catch can's in the way, but down here is a connector. You're gonna have to push in those 2 tabs, push in really hard and push on those tabs before you pull it out. If you just try to pull it out, it's not coming out. Once you took off the connector first, and then those 3 bolts, you kind of rotate it back and turn it, and the whole thing will just come right out. Now that I got both headlights out, I'm gonna go inside and swap over bulbs. So the one that I got came with all the bulbs except HIDs, so I'm gonna have to change those over. First thing is I'm gonna have to swap over the ballast. So that's this piece, and that goes on the bottom. So it didn't come with it, but it plugs in. So I assume I just take off these Torx, which are, I'm assuming it's the T20. Yep, T20. And then changing over the HID bulbs. All right, so once you got the ballast off, make sure you get the correct side accordingly, and it just pulls right off. The connector is built into the back of it. And then I just put it back on carefully. It's important to be careful with everything. Yeah, you just put that back on carefully, push it in, and then those 3 T20s. When you're done with that, do the same thing to the other side, and just be careful because you are putting a metal screw into plastic. So pretty much once it bottoms out, do not tighten it any further. It's not going to go anywhere. You don't want to strip things out when you're using metal screws into plastic. So next is replacing the old, or moving the bulb to the new one. Mine came with these zip ties and this wire piece. It has the cover that clips in, So I need to get this off. So let's see. So once you've grabbed the associating side, it's gonna look like this. So you open and close. So you're gonna rotate it, and carefully pull that out, and unplug it. Wow, it was unplugged itself. Okay, so just like that. Once you rotate this piece counterclockwise as well, it just comes off. And then the HID bulb itself is right here. So be very careful. Do not touch that with your hands, because you'll mess it up. So just move it from one spot to another. And then, actually, here, gotta do that. Gotta take this piece off first. Okay. Then I put the bulb in. Just sits in there. I'll put this back on. So the reason why this was a little bit harder to get on, this piece wasn't going on, because on this piece, see these plastic pieces here are not busted out, but that one is busted out so that that piece can go in, which means you have to break out this little circle here, and that's what that's for, so that it can actually go on. Alright, once you got the bulb in and this piece on, you have to line it up between 3 points on it, and you have to push kind of hard to get it to click in. I didn't want to break anything, so it took me a while because I was just messing with it carefully. But yeah, you do have to put some force into being able to turn this clockwise to lock back in. After that, then you take your piece, you plug up the wire in it, make sure you put it on properly. So since this is upside down, put this one upside down, and then so here's the thing. When you take this off, there's this little plastic piece that comes out. Can barely see it in there, but a little plastic piece in there that pops this out in some fashion, I'd assume, because you can't actually plug it in unless it is already inside the headlight and clicked in. Once you click it in, that little piece will go away and you can actually plug it in. Here's an idea from the back side of the old part to get an idea of what you're seeing though. So these 4 prongs meet up with this piece, like so, and when you turn it, it clicks in. You can't really see that when it's on the car. So also, it's a lot harder to actually get it to click in when it's on the housing than with a spare piece. So I got it on, and then once you turn it on, you can put the plug in. So for example, when you take the plug off, it pushes that little plug out with a little finger. So the only way, which is kind of stupid because you can barely fit your fingers in there to, you know, almost at a 90 degree in here. So the only way you can plug it up is if it's on. So put this back on. Keep looking down. Okay. So here's how I did it. Just kind of feed it through and fish it on. There we go. Now I'm going to, you would do the other side now. I'm going to take this out. So let's do that right here. Don't cut any wires. I'm going to take this out because I'm changing the bulb over to what I had on the old ones, which were the yellow flash to pass bulbs. It just looks cooler. It gives, you never really ever use the bulbs, but the bulbs look cool in the light, gives it kind of like yellow eyes. So that's what I'm going to do next. So for these flash to pass bulbs, I'll make it quick because this isn't really the main point of the video, but you just take out 2 screws holding on this spring, wire spring, and then this thing will come out. It's a little bit, yeah, right here. It's definitely way easier doing this outside of the car with the whole thing out, because these screws are really a pain to get to. These are Torx these are OEM quality but aftermarket, because I didn't want to pay $400 per headlight. I just paid $400-ish for both. So you just take these off, and it's real easy to drop it in the car, but now that it's out, it's so much easier. So just finished up, and assembly is just reverse of disassembly, and these look so much better than, I mean, I still have the plastic wrap on because I don't want to scratch them until they're all the way on the car. Yeah, they look so much better. So I'll show you the final product when it's all buttoned up. So that is the final product. Had a little bit of issues with lining it up. I put in the top one first, but be careful because it's just lining everything up and making sure it's gonna fit right. But everything works just right off the bat. So there you go. And here it is with all the lights on except the brights, which just shifted those.